I'm Kirsten Moran. Throughout reading this book and doing the different discussion boards and writing the different papers, one topic that just stood out to me a lot because it's something that was very much relatable was the chapter on suicide, which is found in around like page 443 of the book. And for me, like what I found most interesting about it was that the needs that were given for why people deal with psychology, that it's possible why they deal with it, was like point on for what I went through. So I just want to read to you what the 4 points are. So number one is love, acceptance, or belonging. So they're looking for love, acceptance, or belonging, in the world, at home, at school, wherever it may be. It says fractured control, helplessness, frustration, assault. Number three, assaulted self-image and avoidance of shame, defeat, humiliation, and disgrace. Number four, ruptured key relationships, attendant grief, and uh, bereavement. So I want to go down each of these and just kind of explain them a little bit and give examples of each. So the first one is love, acceptance, and belonging. And this is something that you see from the beginning of time till now. We all live in a society where we want to feel like we belong. We want to feel accepted. We want to feel loved for no matter who we are or no matter what we have done in the past. And, this is something that was very like spot on when we saw the documentary, The Bridge. I don't know if any of you saw it, but that was one of the ones you could have done the analysis on. But anywho, in that documentary, a lot of the people that took their lives away off of the bridge, they were looking for acceptance and love. One of them, like, he even wrote on his death note that like he wanted love and he just couldn't find it. Then there was another girl who, because of the way she appeared and because of her mental illness, no one accepted her in society. And like reading this book and seeing these documentaries that we've had the opportunity to see, it allows us to understand that there are so many people out there in this world that need an act of love and that need to feel like they belong. And we have the power to help them feel loved and accepted. Number two, right, is fractured control, helplessness, and frustration. So the reason why also people can fall into, suicide or get those thoughts of suicide is because they feel helpless. An example could be they just lost their job. Right now in COVID, many people are losing their jobs. Many people are feeling that sense of helplessness. Like, I can't provide for my family. I can't help my kids, And being in that state, it puts you in this place where not only do you become helpless, you feel like you're not worth anything or like you don't know what to do, but also you fall into frustration. That's why I like agree like that helplessness comes first and then frustration, like it is in this text. And you just become so frustrated and overwhelmed, and little by little, then from there, then it goes into thoughts like, I'm not worth it. Like, why am I living if I'm going to be living with all this in this world? Or why am I living if I'm not going to have anything to live for? And that's why, many of these cases, people do just make that decision to just commit suicide. And this is a reality. Number three, it says assaulted self-image, avoidance of shame, defeat, humiliation, and disgrace. So I want to talk a little about the self-image part because I think it's very key to the society that we live in today. Because right now in this world, excuse me, we live in a world where everything is displayed on social media. You see, the perfect family. You see this perfect girl. You see the way that the ideal way of life is. And sometimes you start to compare. And it's something that we all have done, I'm sure, in one point in time in our lives. It's hard not to. And when you start to compare yourself with the image that you see, you start to realize, like, I don't look like that. Or my skin is not like that. Or, like, my body doesn't look like that. And when you begin to distort, you start to degrade yourself in a way, and is what leads to people to commit suicide as well. The other one is humiliation. So this one, right away when I read this in the book, what came to my mind on why humiliation can lead to suicide is because humiliation will cause you to not want to speak up about your problems, to not want to reach out and ask for help. And sometimes people are just so humiliated that they feel the way they do, or that they're going through what they are going through, so they just rather keep it to themselves. And some people, they keep it to themselves and keep it to themselves, and once they can't keep it to themselves anymore, feeling so ashamed and humiliated of what they're going through, who they are, that's when they decide to commit suicide. And number four is ruptured key relationships and attendant grief and breverness. Excuse me. So ruptured key relationships. So this is something that hit to home right away, and I was like, wow, that was my psychological factor that caused me to have an attempted suicide. And sorry if I cry a little, but it's very true. Sometimes when you have those key relationships in your life, once those relationships fall apart, or as I like to say, once they go to die, whether if it's that person dies physically, or where if it's that's where the relationship comes to end and you lose that relationship, it's like your world just broke into 1,000 pieces. Because when you have a key person in your life, they are a part of your everyday. They are part of your routine. They're part of your cycle. And when you take one part of your daily cycle, it's like you can't live without it. And dealing with that is so hard. You feel alone. You feel like, why didn't I do enough when I had them in my life? Or what could I have done better? Or what did I do wrong? If it's a case that person's still alive and they left you, like, what did I do wrong? And it's something that is just so hard, and that just breaks you down mentally into this. You think, well, if they're gone, then maybe I'm done in this world. Maybe it's my time to go too. And that's why you get those thoughts that lead to the suicidal thoughts. And then from there, you might even take it a step further and try and commit suicide. And then the last one is grief and bereavement. And that's once you lose a loved one, like they pass away, being separated from them, that may be a person that was the only person that kept you going. And losing that person then cause you to think, like, you know what, like, that person was my motivation to live, or that person was the reason I'm living. Like, now that I don't have them, I can't go on anymore. And then that's why people then go into the suicidal thoughts and then eventually commit suicide. And I know this is all very, hard to talk about, but it's something that happens every day in this world. And, after reading this chapter on suicide and watching the documentary, The Bridge, it just felt so heavy in my heart that I was like, this is what I want to talk about at the end of the semester when I get the chance. And learning all this, it helped me to not only like understand psychologically, like, what are the different reasons that may cause suicide, but it also it pushed me, or I guess encouraged me, to help people that are dealing with these different psychological needs, because I don't want someone else to fall into the place where I was when I was dealing with my suicide thoughts. I want to be able to help other people now. So I'm so thankful that I got to read this book, because now I know different ways to help people, whether they lose someone in a key person that they had a relationship with, or whether if it's they don't belong, or whether it's because they just lost someone. I want to be there for them and help them, and let them know that they don't need to die, that there are other ways to get through what they're going through, and there are other options for them, because everybody in this world deserves to live. Excuse me. And I am just so grateful for this book, because aside from suicide, learning about the other topics in this book, it's just helped me realize that I can help out a whole lot more people, because now I know general understanding of how to help people that are, having suicidal thoughts, have how to help people that are grieving, and even kids. Like, that's a big age group that I work with. And so, like, now that I know these key factors, I know that I can make a difference in this world. And I'm just so grateful and thankful for this opportunity. And I hope you all had as much fun. I mean, not fun, sorry. That's not the right word to learn about this stuff. But I hope all of you enjoyed all these readings as much as I did this semester, because honestly, it's helped open my eyes and realize that not only that I can use this for myself, but I could also use all this information I learned to help others. Well, I hope you have a great rest of your semester, and thank you so much for this opportunity.